innovation leadership in California?
Great question. Because if we lose our innovation edge, then we have a huge challenge on our hands. Because think about it, California for many decades has been on the cutting edge of everything. I mean, go back to agriculture. In some ways, you know who deserves the Innovation Award of the Year in California is the farmers. Think about, with the regulations and without water, what they have been able to do. It is really quite remarkable. But aerospace, biotech, high tech, green tech, the chip, the PC, we own innovation, and we have to continue. So there's a couple things I would say. One is, and this is not everyone's first answer, but it is my first answer. While we are fixing our kindergarten through 12th grade education system, we cannot take our eyes off the UC system. The UC system is the best public higher education system in the country. There was just a report out the other day listing the 15 best public institutions, public higher ed institutions in the country. And out of that 15, guess how many California has? 6. And what we have done here is we have created some remarkable ecosystems, UCSD and biotech, UC Berkeley and Stanford obviously with high tech, UC Irvine and agriculture, UC Davis and agriculture, UC Irvine and the medical device industry. These are ecosystems that take years and years to build, and so many other states would love to have them. There's only a few that work the way ours does. The University of Texas at Austin, some of the universities are at Route 128. So we cannot let our University of California system go. We have to fully fund it. We have to make sure that we do not let this go. The next thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure that we have a tax policy that incentivizes innovation. For example, we really do need to increase the R&D tax credit in California to be at federal levels, and we have to make it permanent. Now that doesn't help too many startups, because in order to use an R&D tax credit, you actually need to be more than just a startup. But it will help the sort of middle stage and later stage companies. And then we have to make sure that we maintain the culture and the ethos of starting companies in California. You know what, I was fascinated when I first came out here from Boston very, very early on. Griff and I were married in 1980, and Griff did his medical residency at the University of California at San Francisco. We lived in the Haight-Ashbury. It was great fun. My husband's family is from a very traditional Southern family from Birmingham, Alabama. His parents came out to visit us in the Haight and were appalled. But what you did get a sense of was this innovation culture. And when we hired people at eBay, we were delighted if they had had a mistake or they'd had a failure. That openness, that, okay, you fell down, you didn't work out, you're up and coming to the next one. So that notion of the price of inaction is far greater than the cost of making a mistake is something we have to preserve at all costs here. Okay. Way in the back? Can you get all the way in the back?
If you're in the back, I've got unfortunately my microphone is corded.
Maybe they could stand up and call it out.
Well, if you could just meet me up here. So anybody from the back that has a question, somebody just raised their hand. Come up to the microphone, please. Shouting is not going to work. Trust me.
It's not that good a question.
Go ahead. I can even repeat the question for you if you want.
Meg, first of all, it's good to see you here, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
You were talking about efficiency in terms of how to run government and how to add that efficiency in order to decrease costs. In private sector, of course, efficiency is dependent on leadership, and that's the kind of leadership I think you can provide. But it's a little bit more difficult in government, unfortunately, because you're really dealing with unions. Government workers, from the mailman all the way up to the secretaries, etc. It's like a union job. It's not like you can say, hey, you're not doing a good job, you're out, and you're not doing a good job, and you're out, and you can't fire people, and you can't take all the excess people and get rid of them, etc. Or can you?
Yeah, the answer is actually a lot more can be done, I think, than we have been led to believe. And let me give you a perfect example. Today, the general fund revenues for California are about $85 billion, $83 to $85 billion, down from over $100 billion just last year and the year before, because the recession has hurt California like it has hurt everyone else. So my first question was, well, when was the last time general fund revenues were at $85 billion. And I thought it might be 10 years ago, 15 years ago. No, it was 5 years ago, 2004, 2005. My next question was, what did the costs look like just 5 years ago? And I started with the number of people who worked for the state. And actually today there's 357,000 people who work for the state. Just 5 years ago, it was 40,000 fewer. And this is not teachers and firefighters and police. This is the bureaucracy that has grown dramatically. So we can reduce that by attrition. Turns out 12,000 civil servants retire every year. If you didn't hire new people, you could actually be down by about 36,000 workers in 3 years. A long way towards going back to right-sizing the state government. The other thing we can do is deploy technology, use technology to do more with less. I'll give you a perfect example. So in the administration of Medicare and Medi-Cal, this is not an automated system in California. And so we have limited ability to find the fraud that is embedded in Medicare and Medi-Cal. Estimates are it's between $4.8 and $5.2 billion a year of fraud in the Medicare and Medi-Cal system. We would only save half of that. The feds would get the other half, but I'd be pretty happy with $2.5 billion a year. But we have to automate the system. Another example is our health and welfare benefits are also not automated. So we can't help people do more with less. We can't run the system efficiently. I'll give you a perfect example. IHSS, which is the in-home healthcare service, a fabulous idea of a program, which is, can we keep seniors and the disabled in their homes longer by letting hourly individuals help keep them there? Great idea. The DA in Sacramento issued a report just a month ago that upwards of 25% of that program is all fraudulent. Again, it's not automated. So, purchasing, not automated. There's so much we can do by running this a little bit more efficiently with a little eye towards how do we get the very best money out of the taxpayers' money. And then we have a great opportunity, which is if you save money through waste and efficiencies, then you have the wonderful choice of how do we invest that money. Do we invest it in schools? Do we invest it in lower taxes? Do we invest it in innovation? Do we invest it in better ports and better roads, a water conveyance system? Trust me, there's no shortage of very meritorious investments in California. But there is no more money. The true fact is we have a government we can no longer afford. So how do we save doing things we know how to do? You know what I used to say at eBay to my team? I'd say, we know how to do what we did last year. Let's do that more efficiently so we can save money to do something we've never done before. And that's the approach I'd like to take. I think we can make an enormous difference here. And it will not be easy, but what great leaders do is they inspire. And if I can find 300 people to come with me to Sacramento, career civil servants, there are some very good people in the civil service. Can we inspire those that are there? Can we bring some private sector expertise and begin to fundamentally change the culture of the government? It's not easy. I'm not naive about it, but you know what? Someone has to stand up and be counted, and we have to try, because as I said, what we're doing isn't working. Okay, this has to be the last question, I'm told by the Kepler's team.
How do you respond to the effort and suggestion of a new constitution for California?
Yeah. So, as you know, there's a number of groups that are thinking about convening a constitutional convention. And actually, I think this has real merit to it. You may not know, but actually California has the second longest constitution of all 50 states, only behind Alabama. And what has happened over the years, it's been added to and added to and added to. And frankly, I think we would do well to say, given what we know now, in 2010, 2012, given what we know now, how would we rewrite this Constitution? So I think it has a lot of merit. Couple things, the devil's in the detail. Who's going to sit on the Constitutional Convention? Is everything going to be open? Is it simply going to be an excuse to eliminate the 2/3 majority in the legislature that is required to pass a tax increase or to pass a budget? Or really is everything open? And one of the things that I think about a lot is our initiative process. In California we have direct democracy that is combined with representative democracy. And initiatives over the years have propositioned many good things. Proposition 13 for one, but some tough things too. We've propositioned about 1/3 of the budget you can't touch because it's been propositioned into existence. And I think the initiative process is a good one, but one of the things that a constitutional convention could look at is as follows. So you're all aware of the light rail bond that was passed. So what we did is we said to California voters, would you like to have a light rail system? Yeah. That would be great.